to utilize this. We're still waiting for players to join into the server right now. Only CLG has anyone in here. Finally, Roberts is going to get in from Method. So I think that Vansili today on Face It actually made the reference to Apex, who had an interview about the North American squads on T side, and how he noted, Apex noted that they sit around for most of the round and look for picks, which is so common. How many times do we see, T teams sit back, play picks, and then they run out of time and haven't got anything because all they have to do is play passive on that. Every European knows that they have to play passive against NA. They don't have to do anything fancy, aside from Fnatic, who take full advantage of Liquid on Inferno for a 16-3 win at MLG. But if they sit back and then they don't give up those picks, then all of a sudden they get frustrated with 10 seconds left. They hit a site and it's hasty, it's not executed correctly, they rush it in, and they all just get slaughtered in a crossfire. And that happens time and time again.
It's that whole, what I think part of the issue is that was the old iBuyPower style of play. Right, so that's a team that would sit back, they would let the clock run down pretty low, they would let Skadoodle look for picks, they would try and find something, and they would kind of make a decision with 30, 40 seconds left. And sometimes it would bite them in the ass, but that seems to be a style that a lot of North American teams at the moment are going for. Also, I just don't think that, we talked about it with Nitro, who we think would both be more effective as an entry fragging role, but he wants to be a lurker. I don't think we have anyone who really wants to dedicate themselves to being an effective entry fragger, to be that first or second guy in there, to do the dirty work.
That's where a lot of people who were originally looking at the new Cloud9 roster said, Freakazoid, this guy hasn't played in forever, how could they possibly go to him? But he seems quite comfortable and content playing that role. He said it in an interview at Gfinity. He said, yeah, I'm here to be an entry fragger, that's my job. That's, if it works out, it works out great. My team will get into the site. If it doesn't, all right, well, they're going to try and enter anyway. So I think that he could actually be really effective. He may not ever be a top fragger. In fact, your entry fraggers seldom are unless they have an absolute standout game and your T side goes magical. But overall, if he can just stick to his role and create space for people like Nothing to go to work, for people like Shroud to go to work, that team does have a really good chance just by having someone that's willing to do that job. It's, again, I'll make the reference to Zipnix on TSM, who, as a support player, he may not have the best score lines, but he makes so much space on the CT side for guys like Cajun B to op. It's crazy to watch that guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's some amazing players, and that's also one thing that comes into it. Actually, I don't know if you saw Dave's video on the Cloud9 team. He made some really good points about the personalities and the types of players, not necessarily what they do in game, but just like a mentality of the players that C9 has in that roster. Made some good points there. So it's also, I mean, you need people who, are going to be able to find frags and make the right decision. And Freakazoid is a player who's going to come in and he's going to get that entry frag for you. But especially on the CT side, I think that's where Cloud9 is going to mostly struggle with that roster. You need to have people who can make the smart decisions, and we didn't see that from Gfinity. So they're going to keep working on that. And that's the thing. It's so many of these teams in North America just have to, they're just brand new rosters all across the board. It's like we have a whole new scene.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, the NA Shuffle opened up a lot more opportunities for lower tier teams, even just while the top teams are reorganizing themselves. I mean, you saw Cloud9, you saw iBuyPower, that was all you thought of 2 seasons ago, and then ESEA land, then I'll make a case, suddenly they get picked up by Liquid. Mouse Spaz go ham in the qualifiers for MLG, they get picked up by CLG immediately afterward, and suddenly now there's 4 teams to talk about simply by notoriety. And now we have Nihilim that's come over, and this year they were Denial last year. I mean, Denial, by the way, also had the iBuyPower roster before they were iBuyPower. Denial has some good scouting going on. I will say that organization always seems to pick up rosters that move on to be quite, I guess you could say, potent at the top of the league, or at least house a lot of individual skill.
Yeah, they're teams that have done really well and excelled to a certain point of the top of the North American scene, but still, no one internationally has had the success that we need to have in this region. But we do have 10 in the server here, so as soon as the sniper round gets underway, that's going to be awesome stuff. And with that 80% win rate on the CT side for CLG, I mean, Method really needs to win that knife round. They need to start that CT side. I mean, their struggles on this map has been their terrorist side. They have an 18% win rate as T side, 7 of 39 rounds, including over 3 on pistol rounds. I mean, that's just brutal.
We're just waiting. It is JDM64 that is in for CLG there. I think most people were expecting that to be the case. Someone in chat did say that he quit his job, but I haven't seen anything official that he would be confirmed as the 5th. He seemed the most likely candidate from the day one in my eyes. I mean, this is the guy that JDM64 2 seasons ago, back in season 16, when these guys actually did make the LAN, I believe as the Netcode Guides roster.
Yeah,
These
that or
guys,
Mousepez.
I think it was Netcode Guides that season, and then they switched to Mousepez right after. But either way, this was the guy that carried them in. I wouldn't say carried, but helped contribute to them getting to that LAN. And then they started off 0-8 or something around that lines the next season. In season 17, unfortunately, didn't make LAN, but they actually brought back JDM to help them do that. And then it wasn't until after that season they picked up Peters. So JDM's got a lot of history on this roster with most of these players, with the core of these players.
Yeah, he's been a backup for a long time. I mean, that was the big thing when they picked up Peter for him in the middle of the previous, I believe it was, a season or two ago. The big thing was JDM they said he didn't have the time to devote to the game. So if he did quit his job, that would make that a very far more likely situation of him being picked up.
Yeah, someone's saying that FNS actually confirmed he did quit his job. So I mean, you could speculate that has high probability that he's accepted the position as 5th if that's been confirmed or not. But until we see that written on paper, we can't officially say that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing we just talked about too. Just to go back to it is, they're playing with this guy for so long. They're bringing him in. He's practicing with them and everything like that. So to not have him going forward, that's just, you feel kind of like you wasted we're going into the 3rd week here. That's kind of 3 weeks down the drain, and however longer it would take to find someone better.
Oh, I mean, that's the other thing too, is they're 5-1, and the match they lost was actually the one where Mo was playing. That was Cash, by the way. I called that was Inferno early on. It was actually Cash. But regardless, I mean, it just goes to show that even with him in the roster, he could still be a contributing factor. To have that sort of results with only 4 confirmed or committed members is pretty impressive. But knife round completed. We do finally get to go live in this matchup. Method versus CLG. The move-ups versus the, I guess, highly hyped-up CLG, you could say.
Yeah, you could say that, for sure.
I'm going to say it, Moses. I've already said it. You can't take it back now.
Never. I would never do that to you. So we are going to get a pistol rod. Method is starting on that CT side, so that's a good start for them. That's exactly what they needed. Just be a little bit too difficult, in my opinion, for them to start on the T side on this map. And it's going to be a 5 armor buy for CLG, so not doing any fancy. This is just going to be something where they bully their way into some early kills. And a smoke already being deployed by Strebber over at B by Roberts. That's very, very early on. No, there's only one more smoke on LA, and he's over at the A side. He's at the wrap side, so we could throw that over towards B bomb side to spare him out, and that's exactly what he's going to do, actually. But 2 smokes used very early on in the match.
So now it's up to Cutler to go on the scouting mission, because otherwise they walk out into this stack. Hayes already around the corner. Ely try to get damage out from the arch side. He's going to fall back silent. Wants to readdress the angle only with his P2000. Does spot Tarek jumping over. Does good early damage. Gets him down to 59, but when he re-peaks, he realizes he's got more than just one to deal with, so he'll fall back. They'll have to stay passive. Meanwhile, Bomb's gone back with FNS toward the B site, and they're going to go for this wrap, and quite successfully so, as they take down the player on Speedway. And now it's Strobes in the back of the site. Roberts, he's going to get the shot when he jumps around. Cutler gets in onto him. And CLG have opened this B site completely up and have full control of the round.
Yeah, not a whole lot of support for this mid-B split going on, but here comes a 3-man flank. Tarek goes down. They've spotted them all, so all the attention from CLG will be on this choke point. Silent trying to find some kill. No one from CLG really peeking, but JDM taking some shots from CT spawn at the great. Can't connect anything. Mainline takes him out. FNS responds. Down to a 2-on-2, and here they come cleaning things out. A nice shot by Mainline. A kid right in front of him. He picks it up. He's got to find this kill, but he can't do it. Cutler's going to win it. Doesn't take a single point of damage. 2 kills for him on the round. So 1-0 for CLG.
It got a lot closer in the end than it needed to be, but they had a good amount of time off the bomb already, so those end kills ultimately were just for contributing to stats, taking pistols out of the hands, because the round was pretty much done 5 seconds, before it actually concluded. And we do see finally some more SMGs come out. 2 this time. We're slowly building to this 4 SMG meta that the EU players are using. So JDM 64 and Hayes is going to be used. It's good to see JDM being one of those players as well, because if he wants to go for a T-sided op, this is exactly how to get it started. Pull out a gun, build up the economy with it, and hopefully they can find these early kills, because JDM 64 gets the first on Justin, tries to get aggressive on the second player in the form of Roberts, who gets forced back, and both of them are on very low age. Cutler knows he's in the corner.
Yeah, and meanwhile Hayes falls on the other side of the map, so it's a rebuttal. It's the equalizer. JDM's only at 1 HP. No map control for CLG. Still staying very far back, although actually they do have control of Banana, so that's one thing to be happy about, but it's only Strebber over here in this B bomb site. There is a stack in middle. Mainline and Ali is up on top of each other's heads, and this is an interesting. This is like a 1.6 stack, so they could find something here. 3 CLG members are going to move up mid.
The stack is working for, and it's going to work right now as Ali gets the first. FNS is the one to drop, and they fall accordingly. Mainline does get around the corner. Unfortunately, Ali gets stuck inside the cubby, so that means Mainline has to stay in a position that's able to support him if they want to make that effective, and in fact, he's not. He's going to wrap all the way around to the other side of A. This still may catch them off guard if he gets there quick enough. But he stays in pit. Equally as smart. Pit's a really solid spot, but they're already spotted him. Cutler sees him over the top. Ali does peek back out at the best possible time, I guess, from his perspective. Worst possible time for CLG because he gets one more kill before Cutler goes back, and Methods do still have the man advantage. Tarek's going to go safely to the back corner of the site to get this bomb plant down, and Cutler in Graveyard knows there's still a player over on A side somewhere, but hasn't been able to spot him. Now he finally does speak up on Sarob coming around. It's going to be actually silent to catch Tarek as they completely distract him, and they do get Cutler down, and there's the end as he gets stuck up there, and it was all Roberts who just waited it patiently, and he'll get the kill. So 1-0 now comes to 1-1. Method immediately back with an anti-eco, or rather an eco of their own, excuse me.
Yeah, staying alive in the pit was just so incredibly critical. You saw once the bomb got planted by CLG that they tried to get into post-plant spots, but where are they going to go? They can't get into pit. One stuck in the bomb site that was stuck, and Cutler does make his way to Graveyard, but it eliminates so many positions where they can go after the plant. So very nicely done by Method. They take an advantage they got early on in the round. They got the equalizer. That boost got them one, and that was the man-up situation that they needed to position themselves very, very well to eventually take down CLG. So now they have some AK-47s that they salvaged. They got 2 of them and 3 other rifles behind it, M4A4s and M4A1s.
And passive setup for Ely this time. He's going to hold on Arch by himself. This will put Mainline and Silent in the pit together. So one to watch Boiler passively and one to watch directly above him on the doorway from the apartments, but CLG aren't heading that direction at all. They want this B site, and they want it with vengeance. These pistols are going to pour inside. It's going to be Strebber and Justin that wait around the corner. Late smokes come out, but they've already pushed through. Justin's on the backside of Fountain, but Strebber's already found one. Justin's mopping them up, and it doesn't work anything. These pistols go nowhere, and Strebber makes it work. That looked like it had potential. If they could have found the first player on the crossfire, picked up the gun, or even just overwhelmed on the backside of the site where Justin was playing, there was a chance for it, but it amounts to nothing. Really good hold from from Method.
Yeah, a really good hold. They just mopped it up, but it is going to be a force buy here at a CLG. They did get the bomb plant in that second round that they lost. So that money is going to allow them to have a pretty decent buy here. They do have some good utility behind it. 3 AK-47s, 2 Galils, so... But look at the Molotovs on the side of Method here. They've got 4 of them, so much time can be wasted with smokes and Molotovs in the choke points. And even one is going to go down to the tree. That's exactly what Hayes is. These nades do damage. It's a triple push over to B. It's an equal trade so far. They come out on top. Justin's very low. Strebber is still behind the sandbags, but he's going to use the cover of that smoke to fall back, so it's going to be a 4-on-3 here.
That's a good play. They changed it up entirely. They stay passive while the pistols are out because they don't want to risk giving away guns up close. And then as soon as they know it's a gun round, they completely catch them off guard, throw a curveball, get aggressive on Banana. And they do get the better of the exchange. A man advantage, Justin on 11 HP, Strebber on 39. As this fire finally burns itself dry, FNS wants to peek to the left side, but no one's waiting there. It's actually just going to be a really passive hold on A. Silence on the balcony. Ely's just waiting for them to push further from Moto. I think he may have just spotted the edge of FNS, so he throws out the nade, but FNS is waiting as well. That nade goes a little bit too deep, and as a result, they pass on the corner, but he still holds the angle. Bomb gets fumbled forward, so they do have to push to at least pick that up. FNS is able to recover that quickly due to Ely falling back. Still has to be careful because Trevor is going to be on the rotation and on the flank quite quickly, and FNS, with Tarek down, has nowhere to hide. And Method, they'll pick that round up as well. Things looking really good for this start on the CT side for them. And you said it, they look like the most confused team that have moved up, and they're showing off some good form. Again, it's early on, and it is the CT side of Inferno, but good team play so far.
Yeah, and their these gun rounds, or even that eco round they won, they get themselves a man advantage early on in the rounds, and then they just fall back and they play it so smartly. They turtle up a little bit, play a little bit more passive. They don't give the equalizer back to them, and they force CLG to execute with the man disadvantage. So very, very well done so far by Method early on in this half. But they're going to need a big lead on this CT side. We, I mentioned a couple times CLG how good they are in their defense, 80% win rate in the matches they've won. So Method's going to need to have a little bit of a cushion going forward.
I can potentially get another one here, though, to add to that. They want to get Boiler presence this time. So last time when they went for a full eco, they did try and get up Banana. We saw what that did to them on that entry. This time they want to take the fight a little bit closer on A. Mainline, Silent against double stacking on this pit play, with Silent pushed up to the hood of the truck, trying to watch out toward Boiler. The aggressive angle, though, because he's pushed up, this does give him a lot better free reign of his aim. He does have a lot more to see through than just that gap, but it also means he couldn't spot them coming out of Boiler. So they don't have the information yet that they are up middle right now, especially with Ely playing passive on the arch side.
Yeah, but they're double picked. That's huge. After here comes the execute. They catch him off guard. They spray it down. It's an equal trade. Silent doing some work in the pit. He grabs Cutler as well. But FNS picks up an AK-47, executes, and the bomb is down at pit, so that's going to get a time for this rotation. FNS does fall, and now it's Hayes with the rifle. He has the bomb, but like I said, he's stuck at the pit now.
Big win on that exchange through Archway. If FNS could have at least traded that, gone 1-for-1, it leaves him in a one-on-one retake situation with his bomb going down. Hayes at least gets it planted, but he has the disadvantage. And as a result, there you go. There's the trade. If that was one-on-one, he wins it. Instead, Method are going to pick up their 4th round.
Yeah, but a plant and 4 kills, that's a huge eco route for them. So much damage dealt. A lot of rebuys going to come out on the Method side. They do have plenty of money. They're going to have to drop one for mainline, but still, nicely done by CLG, chipping away the economy. Now we're going to see that AWP in JDM's hands, and a solid buy behind it. Molotov, smokes alike, all come out for CLG here.
What's the setup? It's a really standardized play from Method. Always 2 to B out of spawn. Haven't gone for an early A push, despite that time they could have with the spawns they had. So they're not stacking it up and trying to play for contention with aggression. Instead, they just smoke it at car. So Method likes to be quite passive. They did throw that curveball in the first gun round, but overall, it's pretty standardized play at B, it has to be said. Meanwhile, though, this is a whole lot different. This is your VP push in apartments from them. So you've got Silent, Mainline all pushed up. Ely's going to watch the backside on the booster, rather the jump up from Tarek, and Mainline's already collected the first, but Tarek does manage to get Ely. This forces them to fall back. They don't even play for the trade, and they go all the way back to the pit. Silent's going to try and cross over, does so successfully, gets inside the site before he's spotted up, but now Method have a real chance to hold. The problem is that they may give up this wrap. Strepper has got close to the arch side. This gives them a bit of a chance to hold it. In fact, Silent's gone even further, so they won't allow for it. This is a good play, actually, to make sure they can't wrap onto that site.
Yeah, they smoke it off as well. JDM was going to try and pick it with his AWP. He's forced back. But the defense is now spread thin. It's a 2-2 in terms of the CT defense at each bomb site. It looks like Strebber's kind of cheating a little bit for a quick rotate over towards A, but the scary part is these players in A, since there's only 2 of them there, they're forced to play so far back. They don't have any intel. Now they're going to hear the noises, but it's too late. The rotate's going to take too long. It's all up to these 2 players.
And on those 2 players, it will come, and Silent only getting the first, so now it comes down, unfortunately, to a last man inside the site. It's going to be actually Mainline, but he's already countered as JDM goes to work, does collect only the 1, but Strebber comes through, manages to collect him outside a library. Good flashes, good nades, everything going out to make sure he can't go any further, and he's very low on HP, 15 at that. Does have money to rebuy. They're in a decent situation in that regard, but they don't have a ton of money, actually. As I say that, I look, and Ely's only got 36 and 37 for Mainline. They will get drops out from Justin and Strebber, but that save actually could have potentially bought them a gun further in one more round.
Yeah, they're going to be stuck on FAMASes in this round, more than likely. Oh, nope, one of them does get an extra M41, so... But you're exactly right. The economy for them is just gone now at this point, so this is a must-win round. For both teams, really, the economy is very, very weak. Neither team being able to establish anything. CLG just finally picking up 1 after a 4-round loss. And a triple push down B, so they're going to grab banana control from CLG, and that's going to allow them to overstack at the A bomb site once they fall off this.
Well, this is what I was kind of thinking they might try in the last round, just by getting that 1 out of spawn. We see Nip do it, we see TSM do it, we see pretty much everyone do it based on spawn points, but Justin falls off accordingly this time. Like you said, this gets them a potential stack. Mainline's just waiting on top of Speedway. So he's not quite on the A site, but he'll be extremely quick on the heels of anyone who tries to come in from the T side, and likewise he'll be back to B quite accordingly as well. But Strebber's playing really passively to make this work, so he pretty much has to call first nade he sees for Mainline to come back. Actually, he's already lurking back, so...
Yep, and last smoke used over towards B right now. It's going to give them till about 30 seconds. The main attack of CLG is going to be coming up mid, though. 3 of them, 4 of them actually, with the bomb dropped there. And they have complete bracket controls. Without the kind of utility that Method wants to hold that, they just give it up. So they're playing a very passive A setup, giving a lot of room for CLG. And CLG is just going to fall all the way back towards B. And this is where they're going to be hitting the bomb site. And there's nothing to use. No flashes, no smokes, no Molotovs, no anything here for the B players.
But here they come in. Cutler's going to be the first around the corner, bouncing that Molotov off the skybox, but it doesn't bounce deep enough. It only covers off Orange's one, so Streber's able to stay put. They still find him, but mainline on top of Spool saw someone through the gap in the smoke. It was JDM that goes down as a result. Justin's still going to find Cutler. Hayes, Tarek, they're still going to do work, though. They've still got a chance here to secure this post-plant situation, but not if Justin continues forward with that sort of aggression. And now the only position they have is FNS as Hayes rushes desperately to try and get back over toward the B site, but FNS doesn't need him. He walks back out, and on low HP, he'll collect both as they line up, and he drops them. Finally, CLG gets something else going for them, and now they're going to make it 4-3. Back-to-back rounds also important, resetting that.
Yeah, and Method with the aggression on that retake almost make it work in a 2-on-2. FNS plays hero, though. That spray control, that transfer, beautiful stuff from him as he peeks. Very, very well done by FNS.
And FNS leads the way, by the way. He's tied with everyone. Now there's 4 players on set.
Good opening by Color. They're very lucky to get away with that round, to be completely honest. That looked great for Method, even in the 2-on-2. But here on the eco round, Method's just getting cleaned up.
Oh, I completely agree. The retake was so quick that they didn't have any post plants down. Justin walked in as they were still trying to get into position. I actually didn't think Finesse would take that peek that aggressively. I thought he would try and wait out more time for Hayes to get in position. He makes it count. Aggressive play from mainline and apartments. He's going to get spotted by Hayes, then he'll make no mistake with the AK. And this leaves just Ely left.
Yeah, nothing to do, and he's so far away from the action. They're going to get the bomb planted over towards A. He doesn't even have a gun to really go find. You know, he might pick up this Deagle and try and grab some magic, but Method's got to get back onto that. You know, here's what CLG, they changed up. They're not losing players right now in the early stages of the round, because that's how Method really won the second round and won that first gun round, was they got, you know, a player or 2 advantage, and they just turtled up into the bomb sites and forced it execute and won it from there. Ely is going to pick one up. That's Cutler. He falls, but 1 HP left. No more he can really look for unless he finds some kind of a magical 1D. JDM misses the op shot. Tarek cleans him up, but CLG's managed the early portions around much, much better on this 3-round winning streak they have going on for him. And if they can keep doing that, I mean, Method's got to either find some way to get a frag to give themselves a man advantage, or they got to stabilize in the mid-round. They got to hold off these executes, because that's kind of where CLG's been killing them.
So they bring it back just as quickly as that. They win the pistol, they get eco'd, and now we get back to 4s. Finally, CLG back on track, the track that they thought they would be on after that pistol round. As JDM, let's see if he can open anything up right now. As Cutler smoked off. Streber and Justin a little more aggressive this time on Banana. And it's a double stack arch side. We're not going to see this double stack pit, which we've been seeing from time and time again from Method, or at least early on in this matchup. It's going to be only Silent to cover off apartments, and both of those front side players pretty much have to get smokes out and delay them in any way possible, and then fall back to the site extremely fast, because if Silent gets overwhelmed from apartments, they're going to have the A site down for a quick plant if Ely's not able to get in position.
Yeah, and with the Molotov and JDM stance, he could choose to try and flush mainline out when they do come up mid, but they're just gonna drop some smokes there and wrap side. That pretty much forces them to wrap into the bomb site. 40 seconds of mainline actually sprays through, does some great damage on a Tarek down to 33 HP. They don't continue forward, so they've taken brackets control. Tarek is so low down to 12 HP, but they've taken bracket control. They've forced the defense to play more passive, less information to be gathered by Method, and they can choose where to go from here. But 30 seconds left. I mean, they don't even have a lot of time to rotate back towards B.
And that time continues to dwindle. They still haven't gone around. They have to essentially play for this wrap because Tarek's lurking up. They are going to try and get to it right now, but mainline realizes they're on that side, and he'll just fire down the wall. Finesse walks into his bullets, and this slows things even further. CLG, 11 seconds, 10 seconds. Finally, they're going to go in toward the B. But how close can they get with Tarek
Round's
already
over.
dropping down around? Yep, it's done. They can't even get there. They haven't even got the plant in position. JDM will at least get Strebber, but with the bomb dropped on the way in, they give themselves too little time, and that's, I guess, exactly what Apex was talking about. You wait, and you run out of options.
Yeah, that was rough for CLG there. Even though they did get map or the mid control, might have just been better there for them to go for an A hit there. They had 4 players up mid, but they decided to fall back. So a little bit wary of the defense from Method on the A site. They ran out of time early. Like it wasn't even close. They weren't even in the bomb site yet when they ran out of time. As soon as Tarek fell with that bomb, the round was over.
We'll see now how Method want to respond to this, because it gives them a round to pull guns back up right away. It gives them a round to breathe. But 4 rounds already going to CLG is looking pretty strong. And JDM wants to be first around the corner, but he's going to have to wait for these executions. There's going to be 2 smokes coming out, one for Spools, one for CT in the form of Hazed, but
2 Molotovs for the defenders at B. If this execute comes in, I mean, they could force them to run through fire.
usually you see that Molotov go over barbecue side with a late throw. The problem is they're forced out of position too soon. There it is. Finally, the Molotov does come in, so it gets out, but they have 2 players in already. It does separate them just a little bit, so segregated are Hazed and FNS. JDM and Tarek are in position. They're going to try and boost up and try and get them above the smoke, but Tarek's already fallen back down. Justin hears them. He knows they're up close. And Strobo hasn't been spotted yet. Problem is that smoke on CT connector is also going to dissipate soon, and Ely's in good position to get a shot through, so they have to finally get in with this execution. FNS does find Strebber. Well placed from him as Justin gets back to FNS, but he needs to be so careful not to go down before mainline gets in position to catch Cutler, and it's falling apart yet again as Tarek is going to drop. Bomb gets in position, but already they're all over them, and similar to that round that they actually won with FNS's heroic play, they don't have any positioning post-plant, and this time there will be no spray to collect 2. Method, well done by them.
Yeah, what an interesting round. The patience from those B players is very impressive with the smokes coming down and everything. I mean, there were so many opportunities where they could have just peeked for information. CLG was just zoned in on some positions, but nicely done by Method, and so much time. It took so much time. You're right, that smoke and the Molotovs really cut off that attack from CLG, so they couldn't bully their way into the bomb site. They have so much time for rotations to come into play, so despite a nice entry frag from CLG, and also, one thing we should touch on, 2 rounds ago in the gun round, they actually had 2 players die after the round timer ended, so that's going to force an early eco here out of CLG. That's kind of brutal. They're all of Tech 9s. They're naded as they're coming up B. All 4 players in Banana. This is a good defense.
That stack of wood seems to be on fire from my perspective. The kindling has been lit. And they're going to put another smoke out.
They're going to be forced to run right through this. So here comes the pop flash. You can see him turned around, and here it comes. Running right into the blender. There, 3 of them just get sprayed down immediately. Strebber and Justin not letting anyone through, even popping out a Miley right behind the smoke. This round's all but over.
And yeah, the fire this time. So the wood was definitely burning. The flash to allow Justin to re-peek it. Cutler finally does take him down. So they'll lose 1, potentially give up this AK. CLG, they're going to really bash their head against this wall and still try and go with only 1 gun. Strebber pops out that flash. He'll collect the AK, but Hayes gets back into him, and now he's got a real chance to save it. And he's going to try. He's running down Banana, but Silent's already top mid. There's a smoke there. Why is there a smoke there this late in the round? I didn't see how that got there, but Silent sees through it. Yup. Reigns supreme, and no gun saved. Another round lost for CLG. And Method are finally pulling back what was rightfully theirs on the CT side, but it might be a little bit late. There's 4 rounds already given up to a team like CLG, who on Inferno aren't too bad at all on their CT side.
Yeah, they're very, very strong. And this is a situation where Method, they can't let CLG get past 5. You know, that's kind of where they have to draw the line here. So Op is back in JDM's hands. But a very patient strategy from CLG. They're doing a very good job of... Oh, look at this VP stack once again from Method. 3 players in the halls. They're more than likely going to be able to catch one out. That's going to be Hayes, who's over here. If he walks up, he died to this exact stack just a few rounds ago.
Damn, that molly on car looks good too. That's a cool graphic. It just looks like the whole car is ablaze. But Tarek does realize there's one in bedroom. He catches Ely as he comes up the stairs to try and respond. So good peek by Tarek to know that someone had to be getting up close and personal with him. Gives him a bit more room.
They break that stack very, very well. Tarek got that same entry frag the last time they did it as well. So it's just the same thing has just repeated itself. History all over again. Deja vu.
And they'll fall back accordingly into Banana this time because they thought they pulled the rotator over. They did actually have Strober back over toward that CT spawn. He didn't quite go through the arch all the way into A, but now he's back in position, and he and Justin together on this B side have been absolutely lethal. They're going to try and flash it through. Now they think better of it. That flash actually caught two of their players, so they won't go. Now they will. Fires out on the backside, and Silent tries to bury his face. Rather, Justin tries to bury his face into the corner and avoid all the flashbangs as he was blinded up. But it's to no avail. They'll find him waiting and get the bomb down. And this time, finally, they have the chance to set up some post-plant positions.
Yeah, this might just be a save here for Method. I'm not sure that they're even... Nope, they're just breaking it out right now. Going for the save, calling it back.
Yeah, they need to because Justin's only on 550, excuse me.
Yeah, they're going to need to drop a gun. And it's interesting that Method actually plays this. They're very trusting. When they go a man down, they play 2-on-2 in the bomb site. They've been doing it all half. So CLG is just able to equalize some trades as they come through and come out on top. But it all started with Tarek getting that pick into Halls onto Ali. So what's that? Actually, two Molotovs broke that stack up, and you could see the two players, one on stairs, one peering down the stairs for a double peek. They immediately called it off and just started falling away. Ali actually got aggressive instead of falling back, and he gets punished for it. So that's what broke that round open for CLG.
And I mean, what's the magic number for you for CLG on T side on this map? Do they really need that much to work with, given how good their CT side is? I mean, 6-6 is where I think 9-6 is where I think everyone should really be on Inferno lately.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think. Oh, there's JDM with another pick. So Silent goes down. Another 5-on-4 situation for CLG very early on. And yeah, I think if CLG gets past 5, this should be. If they get to 6, this should be a no-brainer for CLG to win this one. That CT side is very, very strong, especially against some of the move-up teams.
Justin this time has the counter op waiting at top middle. Ely going to try and smoke out. Actually, just drops a nade down toward bench. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage. A little bit to Tarek, a little bit to FNS.
Oh, Tarek eats that nade down to 23 HP. That's brutal. Mainline, nice one from him. So once again, it's something where CLG takes this bracket control and then they just immediately fall off it, but they push the defense back, so no information about whether they're falling off or not. They're not even leaving a lurker, which is kind of surprising, especially with the man advantage. You can afford to leave that one player.
You're slowly becoming robotic again. I hope this does not turn into something serious, but FNS tries to take a fight at Pit. He's just lurking it though. They want to go in on B, and they will go in on B, but Strabber won't allow them to go anywhere inside B. Just to the doorway as he picks up triple. Finally, JDM puts him down, and he tries to get forward to get to that bomb. 14 seconds left. Has time to plant it, but he may not have time before Ely gets on his case from construction. That actually forces him to get off it, so this time he has to stick. It does get put into place, but he only has this op, and he's inside the site in a really awkward position, but he makes it work. Peeks out, catches Justin, tries to go for the second shot on Ely. Not able to do it, but FNS now brings it back to a one-on-one, and that kill was absolutely perfectly timed because otherwise it was a 2-on-1 split setup, and FNS again in a 1-on-2. He'll clutch it out. And CLG pick up that 6th round. We said anything past 5, and it was going to be a good situation. Now they can breathe easy.
Yeah, well, more importantly, that forces an eco round out of Method. An eco round or a force buy, and it does look like it's going to be an eco round, so CLG a great opportunity here to get to 7-7 and even to outright win the half in that last round, but outwork from JDM is actually really solid there to get that one pick, and FNS with the outplay behind that pillar of the B bomb site. Not enough trades coming out of Method in that 3-on-2.
You're robotic. You've gone full robot. Get some more oil in the system, man. You're getting kind of chunked up. But Ely's pushed inside the bedroom. Back to the pistols, and Ely's the only one over on A, so he's playing it very aggressively. It's a stack on B, otherwise with Strebber pushed out toward those sandbags. No one's been in that position for a while, and there has been some fast executions coming from CLG where they haven't fully checked that off, so there's a chance they could overlook that this one particular time. It might be the perfect time, but he's actually going to flash and peek it because he knows they've executed on A already, and he gets the shot on a Cutler. Reasonable damage done. Cutler's going to counter flash himself back out and go for the peek. No, fakes and thinks better of it. I think he anticipated that they'd start spraying the edge of the logs. The second he went for the peek, and he was rightly so, and this time with the team flash to come out, he'll catch main line. So 10 HP, they do claw one more back. As FNS catches Strebor, and it's all down to just Silent and Justin to do the rest of the work, and unfortunately with the Deagle and 5-7, it's pretty much play for consolation prizes at this point. They won't even do that.
How do I sound on my robot?
Oh, you sound 1,000 times better, sir.
Cool. So it's interesting because JDM doesn't really have a high kill count with only 9 kills, but he's had some huge impact frags and situations in this match. And even there, he comes over and he bails out Cutler with a nice pop flash. Cutler having 10 HP behind those logs at B. And JDM's pop flash completely blinds the opposition. Cutler's able to spray one more down, so some very, very nice small examples of teamwork out of CLG so far in this matchup.
Well, team is key. We see what Keydstars can do with it. As Cutler tries to see over top of the smoke, and Banana hasn't able to find anyone so far. And again, it's a passive hold. That is the reason why, is they're both way back inside the B site. So he'll lurk up and get Banana control for free, completely unscathed. But he won't get much more read on the site until they go for a full entry. If they go for the full entry. That's the thing, because Hazed and Tarek are still trying to get a read over toward apartments. Tarek's playing really passive inside alt middle. But Hazed is slowly getting closer and closer to the top of the stairwell. CLG's falling back as a result of that as well.
Yeah, importantly though, mainline and ESEA are still being aggressive up on the rap side. Mainline's in the cubby, so they can have the information. They'll be able to peek out as well when this execute comes in. Mainline's got a couple flashbangs to use. They've just got to be careful of JDM's up, but they'll be able to mow a couple down with proper teamwork. Strebor gets one over towards B. And there's mainline. He chooses to pounce right there, but Tarek wins it, and JDM also takes out this teammate. Silent moves at just the wrong moment. He gets dinked down. That nade might kill him, and it does, so the A bomb site is easily cracked wide open. This is looking like an 8th round for CLG.
An 8th round would be remarkable to win the half T side, and with the CT side they have, it would be quite comfortable to move over and on to that position. As JDM peeks out, he'll close out the final kill of the half. Roberts goes down. It's 8-7. And you're right. Oh, I got booted. I got to rejoin. But you're right that JDM didn't have a high kill count, but his frags were actually quite significant. The ones that he opened up, the early picks he got, they were able to execute well on the map control they gained as a result of that. I'm actually just trying to bring up the current stats for the match to see if I can get a read on his entry picks. I know it's a weird stat, and we always call people out for saying it, but RWS would actually tell me how many kills came in rounds they won, which would actually, in this case, indicate if they were impact kills or not.
Yeah, well, that was the thing too, because Method actually did a really good job of trading early on in the half. Initially, in the early round battles, they at least got the advantage through trades, and that's kind of what that op prevents. When JDM's able to get those picks off very early on, it prevents those trades from coming in, so Method doesn't get the advantage. So it's nicely done by the op on CLG side. And it's going to be an aggressive down mid play. Cutler swings and takes the battle, gets a nice headshot onto Silent. Tarek, meanwhile, and JDM have pushed down. But JDM's isolated. 4 players coming out alternate mid. They're going to spray him down. Oh, and JDM's going to fall here. So this push gets pretty much cleaned up, although Cutler does chime in for one more from Halls. This is a broken round at the moment.
He leaves him behind Cutler, though. Oh, too late, though. Cutler already rounded the corner by the time he got in position.
Look at the defense, though. Look how spread out it is.
Well, look how aggressive it is, though, from Hayes, because even though it's really spread out, he's on the back of Banana. If they go to A, he's quick to rotate in on a flank, and he's this far down, he can call for Finesse's rotate really quickly. Finesse hesitates a little bit. He does get into position on the CT side of this crossfire just in time, and they do damage onto... Who is that escaping? Running away. That was Strebor. So they do at least a decent amount of damage. Drive by. Are you kidding me? Cutler doesn't even stop down at all. And he takes down 1, make it 2. He catches off Ely as well.
He's going for the ace as well. He's got 4 kills in this round. He's been an absolute beast, just keeping CLG in it by his own strength of will. FNS looks like he's going to let him go for it, too.
And he's got it. There we go. Pistol round ace from Cutler.
That's good stuff. He gets the opening kill, he gets a second kill, and especially in a round that gets so broken and their rotations get so, just destroyed. He has the game sense to know where to go to find more kills, so very, very well done by Cutler.
Shout out to Miss Harvey, who tweeted saying she was never picking Cutler on the Vulcan fantasy team again. Well, guess what? I hope you dropped him, because he's making you pay for it now.
Punishment.
So Method are going to slow things up a little bit here with these pistols. Do have a shotgun out for Hayes. This is quite interesting. Actually, shotgun and 4 SMGs. This is the most European setup in the second round we've seen. This is the most money-grabbing situation for them to be in. So we'll see if it pays off. Hayes is the one with the shotgun. He's over at the apartments, no surprise. We said last game on Inferno that was actually the more common position we see it commit. Although the Swag 7 has been used at B in multiple situations before. But the SMGs are really where the money is going to be won from. They're up against Tech 9s. It's a good counter to them up close from a distance. I still think the Tech 9 has a slight advantage, but close quarters angles, and that's how they're playing it. Cutler's the only one with the rifle. We can see him here. He's inside Graveyard, so he'll be able to hold off the front side boiler and patio when they wrap around. Hayes will just drop down if they get too close. It's a decent setup. That can play off each other quite well.
Yeah, and Tarek's just got a Molotov prime this entire round. I haven't even switched off. I'm just waiting for these smokes for Method to come over. And that's when he'll drop that, and he'll be able to play. That's going to be harsh. Here it goes. He drops it. He's got the MP9. That's going to slow things down. Mainline tries to run through it. Gets obliterated. Can't get the trade to come in, so Cutler swings, or FNS and Tarek combine for 2 more. And Tarek just going to town at the moment. All down to Ali. Not able to do anything, so Tarek gets 3. They only get 1 kill in that B bomb site. Not enough. Nicely done by CLG there.
Yeah, really well done. And 1 upgrade. They'll stick with the rest of these money-grabbing guns because Tarek's going to go to the M4 to complement Cutler. So Tarek, I imagine, yeah, heading over toward B. Gives them a little bit more punch there, a little bit more standardized play, and it's a full save right now. Glock train. Actually, I take that back. We do have 3 P250s, but aside from that, no nades, no armor. Nothing else. Cutler shows off why that armor might be missed as the nade does come down on the main line, and Strebert's going to fall to finesse immediately after he pops out with that MP7. And now they'll just slow it down and pretty much leave it up to Method to figure out how they want to die next as Cutler finds 1 more. It's silent in apartments.
Yeah, but so much damage on early, so many kills, and no chance for any kind of return damage. This is going to be around easily in CLG's favor. We're starting to see... I mean, this CT side is going to be tough to crack this entire half for Method. Next round is going to be so incredibly important. If Method can't take this one, they're going to be in massive amounts of trouble going forward. I mean, if they drop this one and they're forced to save, especially if they don't get a plant, that's going to give CLG up to 13, and that's just almost insurmountable on the Terror side, at least here in North America.
I like how you put it that way. At least here on our little continent that we do things on.
Well, you know, someone in the chat's going to be like, oh, we saw Nip come back on the T side of Inferno. And
TSM got 7 rounds against Fnatic uncontested. They went 7-0 at the start, guys. It's true, though. That actually happened. Just in case you were wondering.
Nah, you love TSM.
I don't know if I'm doing it to troll anymore or not. I'm just happy to see another team winning. I think it's really good for the top of the scene right now to have that many teams capable of winning tournaments, and especially with Na'Vi and Titan now looking good post-patch. NIP actually is the only team that hasn't won a major title out of the top 6 teams this year. Obviously, they won Asus ROG, but I don't think you can call that a top title when they played against Hellraisers in the final, and that was pretty much their best contest in the best challenge in the pool.
Yeah, and they had Michael Laley back then as well, so that also adds into it.
I think they should have had Face It 16-1 and then overtime map too. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's going to be an execution onto B. Tarek's inside the site. Finesse has to rotate quickly. And look at the smokes. They go for this wall of smoke. So Method showing off some execution tactics. The problem is they don't smoke CT. And that allows Finesse to just walk out and pick down 3 plus a lovely little assist on Tarek's final kill. That was actually a decent effort to line up those smokes, completely cordon off the site. But the way to do that is actually put 1 more CT, and then you can just jump up onto the barbecue and plant the bomb immediately.
Yeah, FNS used the pop flash of Tarek and that P-bomb site to perfection. FNS is able to just mow him down basically for free. Didn't even really shoot back there until that last player finally. But a good defense from CLG and nothing on the gun round for Method, and that's the scary thing. We talked about they have about an 18% win rate on their Terror side on this map. It's showing why at the moment. Not able to get anything going whatsoever so far.
Strubber gonna throw one out toward the archway. That'll allow them to push around with these pistols and wrap, but that fire's gonna slow it down a little bit more. Cutler takes down mainline, and JDM's just waiting because that smoke doesn't land where they expected it to. Where did that smoke land? That actually failed completely. It fell into the corner.
That's actually, I mean, that's around where Method had four armor Tech 9 buys, and I know, I mean, they have their full losing bonus, so it's not that huge of a deal, but to have that much invested in and not get any of the kills, I mean, we saw early on CLG was at least chipping away at the economy of Method, and that kind of forced an early eco, but none of that is going in the way of Method at the moment. You could see Cutler, almost $11,000 in his wallet. Hayes has about 10,000, so this is very, very scary.
CLG, JDM got the op up. We'll see if Mainline can find an opening toward the apartments right now as Tarek and Finesse again putting some decent pressure on a banana. This deep smoke this time allows Tarek to stand underneath the pillows. That's an interesting position though. It is really good because it's so cluttered. You can dodge flash as well, but it doesn't give you much to fall off of once they've discovered you. You pretty much just have to hide is all you can really do and dodge bullets. And if two players come in, it's harder to get out of. So I appreciate that he's pushed up into the corner more. It makes me rest a little easier about his positioning. Hazed is in a cool spot, though. Yeah. I haven't seen this used in a while.
That is a pretty cool spot, especially if you have a smoke to drop it in front of you. You can just peer over it, but this does look like it's going to be a pretty typical A execute. This might be that old school execute where Elite tries to jump through the smokes into pit, but it's not. He turns away at the last second, but here they come. Here's the execute.
And we saw that was actually the round Nothing did when he bunny hopped into pit and got behind the player through that smoke. I can't remember who they were playing. I think it was VP at the time, was it not?
Yes, I believe so.
Regardless, the execution does come in. Silent finds Hayes, so that spot doesn't amount to anything in the end, despite that it's a slight unorthodox position. But JDM up close inside the site. He'll find Alien. Cutler does manage to get back to Justin, but finally the response comes out from Method. They'll take down 2, get the bomb in place. And a decent post-plant setup already because Graveyard's so good from a T-side perspective, but that's not where the retake's coming from. CLG are lurking up around the backside. They have no clue they're coming over from truck. Right now is Trevor not peeking. He'll be able to push out once they get in position. And now he can do it, but they've already collected both inside the site. He has to hit them both. He does. Unspotted, they overlook it, and he comes out at the least probable time. So despite that he lets 2 of his teammates die, they lose some guns from that. He still secures the round. If he lost that double peek there, that would have been all. I would have blamed him for not coming out a little bit sooner.
Yeah, that was a nice sequence from him. Yeah, he might have been able to come out a little bit earlier, but the pop flash into the bomb site, you said it, they weren't able to get, you said they had great post-plant setup, but it was pretty good for what they were able to, but the take itself took so long that, they found the best they could. They couldn't get out of that bomb site, aside from one player in Graveyard, and he's the one who ends up winning it, but the pop flash from CLG inside the bomb site on the retake was brutal. 2 players get blind, they get mowed down,
nice
and JDM...
shot.
Adding in even more this is going from bad to worse for Method. This is another entry kill very, very early on. This is reminiscent of the end of last half, when Method just couldn't stop hemorrhaging players early on in the rounds.
What was with that trajectory line of that flash? Did you see that?
No, I did not.
It had like a magical curve in it suddenly. Throwing a curve nade, apparently. We're going back to like original Source days. As Tarek takes down Justin, Silent goes back into him though with the op. So that's a trade kill on B, opening up things a little bit for them, but with that smoke out Method, don't want to push through it right away, but they will bring that bomb back over. They are still a man down, but they've got a 1-man take on B site, so this could work in their favor. Because if Cutler doesn't hurry, they need to go now. Because if Cutler doesn't get there quick enough, then they can actually get decent post-plant positions, but instead Cutler's going to get all the way onto Speedway before they even go.
Yeah, I think, this is taking a little bit too long now, though. Now it's going to come in. FNS has got to live just a little bit longer, but there's a Molotov from Cutler and a nade, so forcing him back. More delayed. He's able to run around. He's behind his smoke at the moment. He could jump up on his spindle and peel her over it, but here comes FNS in the first oranges. He does take the first one down. Strebber's got low HP. He does drop him as well. Pulls out the pistol. Silent misses the op shot, but he's jumping around, and FNS eventually cleans him out.
I love it. Desperate. No, don't shoot.
Just do whatever he can, and he gets taken out eventually. So we've seen FNS hold that B bomb site very, very well this half.
I think he's done an excellent job. I think that, to be fair, I think that Method did a reasonable job with Justin and Strebber over there as well. It was just later on, once CLG figured them out and figured out their passive play, then they started to exploit it. But I think that dead right. Finesse did really well that time. They got that first kill onto the first rotator in Cutler. But here we go again. Fast play this time coming out with these pistols already around the corner. And Tarek behind the car manages to take down Strebber. FNS is in a good position to support him. He'll pick up the second one on Silent. And that nade, that nade. Poor Justin.
Similar around there just ran a couple rounds ago. 2 rushed B. They had 2 players in apartments with the bomb who just pretty much have nothing left to do now except get naded by JDM. So bomb carrier mainline gives away his position with the footstep, and JDM just peeking the crack takes him out. Only 1 round won by Method on their terror side so far. CLG CT side, like we said, it's proven to be dominant in this matchup.
Definitely has been. So double up going to come out. JDM, Tarek. I don't think I've seen Tarek op as much this season as last year when they tried to bring it out alongside Peter. I don't think we've seen them run the double up quite as much.
Not on Inferno. On certain maps, on maps like Mirage, we saw it the other night. Oh, look at this cleanup very early on. This is a gun round 2. 2 players down immediately, and they're even pushed back at B. Stalled out behind a smoke. Tarek picks up 1 more. Hayes. And Tarek chimes in for the last.
For him.
Yeah.
The double up definitely works for him. So that's going to do it. 16 rounds now go the way of CLG. They close out the map. And Method, reasonable CT side performance at the beginning of things. But again, once CLG figured out their passive play and took advantage of them, it was all them for the rest of it. And they'll come out with the win on this one. So they improved to 6-1. That actually does leave them atop the table right now in the division. Obviously, Stars sitting at 5-0, but a game in hand, 2 games in hand rather for CLG. So that'll be neutralized, I'm sure. And I know there was a lot of speculation on the forums about who is going to beat Keed Stars. I think it really comes down to their weeks that they play Cobble and Train and who they're against. Already they passed 1 test on on Train against LG, a worthy opponent. Went to overtime, but those 2 maps are where you can really catch them off. So.
Yep. You're exactly right. So that'll be interesting to see how we go on to it. And we are going to do one more quick break, guys, and then we'll get into the server very quickly. But it is going to be the last match of the night. It's going to be on Cobble. It's going to be Liquid versus Method. So we'll have to see if Liquid can keep it up from that brutal Train performance over Nylum earlier.
Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to ESL ESEA Pro League. Siddiq playing a little bit of chicken with me, seeing how long I'll stay silent over there. But we are going to be back with the last match of the night. It's going to be Liquid versus Method. Story of Method, I mean, we talked about they looked like a team that has, the farthest put together of the move up so far. They look good early on there. Just when CLG, that experience they have to make adjustments, they figured it out, and then they kind of abused some things. So, well done by CLG. And here on Kabul, this is interesting because this is really the only map that we see, especially in European play. It's very T-sided.
It is very T-sided. I think that has a lot to do with, well, it does have a lot to do with the changes to the map, but it also has a lot to do with the way the spawns play themselves out. If the T-sides get favorable spawns that actually favor them beating the CTs to that B connector, you'll see a lot more rounds go that way. But ultimately, it comes down to just the simple fact of controlling drop. And it's going to be, again, we said at the beginning of the night, it's going to be really interesting to see Liquid play this map because Adren actually contributed to getting rid of that second wooden door that was at mid because he thought the choke point was too tight. It only fit like one person through it at a time. That's just not practical on trying to take a site. And he also made the video highlighting Happy's lurk play at drop. So he understands the map. He understands the importance of it. He understands the angles and the positioning. It's going to be interesting to see how well they can execute that. And obviously, they just come off a win against Nihilum. Pretty impressive on Train. This should be okay for them. I think Method that put up an okay game against CLG. It wasn't anything that crazy or that impressive. A few bursts of teamwork that showed off on the B site, but overall, I think this should be Liquid's game to take.
Yeah, well, it's going to come down once again. We said it's a T-sided map, but Method historically with those T-sided problems, 19% before that last match, it probably dropped down even lower after that one versus CLG on Inferno.
Yeah, they would have only picked up 2 out of the
what would have been
9 rounds.
I think it was only one.
Yeah, it might have been 1. Yeah, you're right.
But the thing about Adred, now that you bring it up, he has a great mind for Counterstrike, and he makes some really cool YouTube videos on Counterstrike, theory crafting and strategies and smokes and all that. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it. He reminds me a lot of Sean Gares in that way, because when you listen to Sean talk about Counterstrike, he has some really good ideas, very knowledgeable, obviously, about the game and about what opposing teams are doing, but both of them seem to struggle with their teams at converting that knowledge and that know-how.
Do you think that's overthinking, possibly? Because when you start to overcomplicate things and you start to think of it too much like chess, you think of where all 5 players are, and you get a little. Yeah, okay. I'm just curious.
Because I mean, you look at the top teams in Europe right now. I mean, you look at a team like Envy. Like they don't do anything tactically that special. They make some very good basic plays, but it just seems like even with Fnatic and things like that, it's always keep it simple, and then they're just very, very good at trading. You don't need to have these complex smoke setups. You need to have some basic strategies, and you need to know when to use them based off the information and the picks that you've gotten. So I think that's one thing that those two guys, with all their knowledge, kind of struggle to make things work with their team in the way they call in the mid-round situations.
I mean, I'm just going to be really curious to see how the control drop, because that is, I mean, it is a major point. The other thing is obviously you can't just only rely on drop, because even if you lose the long position, you're basically, even by controlling drop, you're still playing for a retake onto the site, or at least trying to slow them down from getting a bomb plant so you can get rotators over. I think Olaf's really good for Fnatic at controlling that long angle. Actually, another player that's really good at it is Markelov right now for Flip's side. He's underrated in that position. Those two guys are really solid, so this is another map that as the meta develops, there's differences to be made. Some teams don't put that much emphasis on drop. They won't play anyone directly inside the drop room. They'll play a player that's close to it with a rotator from A, potentially outside of the windowsill, just to make sure they can't fall out and cut off the A site, and then a player supporting the player at long B inside the B site, just below the half wall that watches up in the other door. So even if they drop down, they can't really go anywhere.
So you would say on this map that drop is the the key point, kind of like mid on cash.
I don't think it's that emphasized. I don't think you can win rounds without it, but I think if you can get that and you're winning other places, you're going to win pretty much every round, because you're dividing the defense. You can actually cut off rotators.
Right.
You're pulling a player off B in a completely distracted manner. Even if he's the long player, if your player drop goes down early, you basically have to win multiple kills on the trade to make it work. And at the same time that all that's going on, there's so much possibility for the defensive players on A to be pushing up. Chris J and Dennis, they work really well on mouse sports together. There's a number of players, actually. caging B, even with his defensive side TSM, he'll get up toward that angle. JW does it for Fnatic as he's the A player. There's lots of ways to get information while all of that's happening and transpiring, because it's kind of like, I won't quite make the direct comparison that it's like Overpass, but it's kind of like Overpass that you can get out to long and get there quite quickly before the T's are in contention, so you have the chance to get that outward pick. So there's a lot of different things you can do, and I think it's really cool to see the meta develop on this map as well, because I don't think it's settled in yet. I do think it has gone T-sided. Most teams have a general feel for it, but it's not firmly established yet.
Alrighty. Grabbing that knowledge from the EU world and then bringing it back over to us. Thanks for that, Sadicist.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Look at this heavy play from Method. They're bringing 4 players over towards B. There's only 1 towards mid. They have some smokes for some executes. They have 3 of them. And it's going to be Nitro with this 5-7. He's playing right behind the smoke.
Right behind the smoke indeed, but they're going to go for extra smokes to come over top from the long position, bounce it off the wall. So Method look like they at least understand the basic smokes of this map, because they've already covered off that connection point. Meanwhile, Elige inside the site has to drop down. That's problematic, as Fugly will get back into Jest and is silent, who attempts to put the bomb in position. He'll drop down, and now it's all on Elige, and he doesn't do anything. But Method actually got the smokes right. They got the first one out that landed directly on the doors. They actually got a player down drop. Unfortunately, it was just their execution on the site that got sloppy. They were a little bit hasty to get the bomb in position. They didn't execute on the players, or at least take them out first. So,
yeah, I mean, they devoted a lot of utility and a lot of bodies to taking Nitro out of that position of clearing that doorway up on the platform. So the player in the bomb site, I believe it was Fugly. I believe it was Fugly. It might have been Elige, but he was just given free raid. He took a couple free shots, got a couple nice, easy kills of players that weren't looking at him, and he was able to survive very, very long. So good defense by Liquid. Now they're going to have to do it again. Nitro starts things off right before the smoke plumes. Elige takes up his position, but gets dropped by Roberts. Nice headshot. Now he jumps down. He takes out Nitro as well. This is the B bomb site wide open. So this take from Method looking very good at the moment.
And this is the thing, you don't necessarily need to win drop. As we can see, there's still 2 Liquid players in that position, but because they've given up the backside of the site, that main B entrance, they can still get the bomb down, and now they have to play it for a retake. So it's not the only thing that matters on the map. It just gives you that much more positioning. As Fugly, they do come around, they manage to take out Straber, and with Justin only getting the 1, they'll be able to get the retake successfully. Now, that's where I kind of added to it. If you're winning the battle elsewhere, key at long B, if they could have won both those positions, the round's over. Even with the flank, the round's over at that point, because you're going to cut off the rotation so much quicker. So that's where drop can really, really help significantly. But I still think the long B is every bit as important, because it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You don't get drop, then you do get the back of the site. You can potentially put the bomb down. But if you do get drop and not the back of the site, then you still have to kill people to get the bomb in position. So you kind of need both to be clicking at least somewhat consistently.
Regardless, though, Method does get a plant that round, and they did some good chemical damage, and they're going to choose to keep the pressure on in terms of the economy. This is very Mouse Sports. Like, Mouse Sports is a team that will buy these Tech 9s and armors all through the beginning rounds if they continue to do damage, because you look at the economy of Liquid, they know it's weak. If they can just win 1 round and force an eco round, they're going to break it. So a ballsy call here, and they need to at least get you know, three kills or so to keep this kind of a buy up.
A flash from Flowsick just to make sure no one did drop down, but Elige actually comes through the smoke at exactly the right time to bail out Nitro, because they tried to push onto him, and they'll completely take them down. So really good play from Liquid, a little bit of a fortune there play from Elige as he got back through that smoke at the right exact moment.
Yeah, and they stabilized with that big of a win, so Method's going to be... Oh, no. Excuse me. Method coming out hot with they pick up an AK-47, some Galil, so this is another force buy here. One thing I noticed on that B take, just that last round, they used every smoke and every flashbang over the wall before getting out, so they're just trying to win that initial entry battle, and they're going to have to be forced into those situationals, the late rounds, with no utility whatsoever. This time they're transitioning it away from B over towards long, but the buy has been spotted out. Fugly hears the Galil shoot, so he knows exactly what's going on here.
And it looks like Ely wants to be the one to take drop. He does have a setup down below, but this is the passive setup. Okay, so Flowsick is down below. He's just making sure that if he drops down, he can't get back out the window still, but Elige is on that half wall immediately outside with Nitro holding long. So this is actually a really good setup to cover both those positions. Even if they lose one in either spot, they have a swing in Elige to be able to rotate into Nitro's position or Flowsick's position. Meanwhile, though, it looks like it's going to be A. This does weaken A a little bit. Adren's stuck down in middle right now. He pretty much has to be not caught off by Justin, who wants to push through. Who's going to win the battle? Oh, Justin. Did he spot him? I don't think he did. No, he didn't go far enough out the door, so Adren does get the kill. That's going to change things massively because now Fugly can find himself in the corner, although Ely does come down. Flowsick caught off guard. Didn't hear him drop at all. That'll be able to make him be able to split up Connector and take out Elige. There'll be no rotation coming over from Liquid, not so easily at least, as Ely does get caught. So Elige wins the battle. That's big because mainline gets Fugly. Opening up the site, Adren's on low HP. Streber's going to get him. And if Elige didn't win that exchange, the round's already over.
Yeah, now onto this 2-on-2 retake, though. One of the bombs said Elige is going to jump out the balcony. He's got Streber to find over on the ramp. They do spray down mainline, who's in the bomb site. Peeks a little bit early. Elige jumping up on the roof now. He's going to find the head of Streber. He takes it off. So that's going to be the defuse for Liquid. That's going to be 4-0. And that was another round where Method looked like they had a great advantage. Exactly what you've called. They took control of drop. They were able to split up, prevent the rotations, or at least delay them. And a nice A-take, but can't win it out. But with that bomb plate, I mean, I'd fully expect them to just keep buying off the back of this. They've been doing it every round, but instead they're actually going to let it normalize. They're going to buy some armor, buy some Tech 9s, but they're not going to invest super heavily into it. So they're going to abate the pressure for at least one round.
Abate the pressure. I like it. Look at you.
You know, all this extra time I have to devote to esports I've actually put into dictionary reading.
I subscribe to a word of the day. That's my secret. Most of them are completely irrelevant to CS casting, but it's still a good practice. Regardless, though, Adren does catch mainline, so he'll open up the round this time. A little bit more pressure already onto the A side is Nitro. He's going to be coming around. They open up the wooden side, though. That allows them to push a little bit closer to the site, though. But Nitro, look at this. He pops back out. He'll collect 3, and that's the Nitro we all know and love. He's up to 7 kills now. Elige still leading the way, though. And Elige should. He does have the position where he's in that swing at B. He should be the guy that's getting those cleanup kills, so that's good. That means they're firing as things, I guess, should. Just say the word should one more time in the same sentence.
I think on all cylinders is what you were looking for to close that out.
There it is. Thank you.
The op for Silent comes out. It is a quick 5-0 lead for Team Liquid through a lot of these force buys for Method. So it's going to be a little bit of an op battle. We do have Adren with one. He's coming over towards B with it. He's been playing A mostly when he has the rifle, but this time with the AWP, it looks like he's going to get boosted up on the platform. He's going to go for that long pick. The op for Method is actually over towards the long A side, so the oppers aren't exactly going to meet in this round.
And Ely now finally coming out toward long, but look at Adren, he's lurking up. Oh, lags him. Ely gets away just barely with 16 HP. That shot could have easily gone his way. So be thankful that he's still alive, but look at Nitro. He knows that he's been hit. He knows that if they push forward, that nade's going to do damage. Ely's not heading that direction. They want to actually take drops. So this will be a split on A where they try and cover off the rotators again, but Flowsick's not fooled. He finds Ely peeking out a little bit too aggressive. The question is, do they realize that there's going to be 2 players at drop? That's where they can still have the potential to catch them off guard.
Oh, nice shot by Silent. The shoulder peek baits out the shot. Fugly's going to take up the position, though, and Silent might not realize that's happening, but this A-take could be a real thing, but Streber's going to lurk the drop. He's going to take out Flowsick, so now they do have that man there that they want. It's going to be Fugly's turn with Silent coming out. He loses that battle. He digs him, though. So it is a 2-on-3 retake. Make that a 2-on-2. Adren chiming in from the balcony with the AWP. Liquid losing a lot of early entry battles in these rounds, but they're winning it later on.
Nice entry from Nitro, though. Comes back over, manages to collect the first, but they're stacked up. They need to go quickly because 2 together doesn't work unless they can split up their angles. And Justin does go up for that initial peek on Adren. Doesn't manage to take down the shot, though, as he falls back over very quickly, knowing Nitro was coming up the other side. And Nitro, again, with another 3 kills, he now takes over the lead. And Liquid continue to look fairly solid here. I have to say, Method know the smokes. Like I said on the pistol round, they actually had decent execution to smoke off the connector, but overall it hasn't been there. They look a little bit hesitant, a little bit scared to take the fights at the choke points.
Yeah, well, it's kind of what we said about them in CLG on Inferno just last matches. They look very, very good in the early portions of the round. They're winning a lot of those, early battles, early trades, doing very well in those situations. It's once they get to the mid round that Liquid's kind of, and even CLG a little bit in the last match, they really escalate the victory.
Method this time does try and clear out that long position, but Nitro got boosted over by Elige, and they didn't see him come up at all. Streber, though, nice shot to answer back. That's still a trade. This still gives the CTs a bit more to work with, although it does pull Elige away from drop. So now Flowsick has to hold it solo. Result, though, we've already got a rotation. Fugly can support Flowsick. Flowsick could now, if he chooses to, slide out into the site, which is exactly what he's doing. And Elige could actually go even deeper toward long. So they could basically get back to a default in B very quickly. Actually, it's Flowsick. He's going to go even further. So Elige will still play the swing position. Flowsick's going to be the one that goes deep.
Look at this angle that Flowsick. He doesn't know mainline's in that corner, but he's not going to peek it. That could have been very, very interesting. Mainline's lining up the smoke, so this is going to be a B hit. But Elige and Flowsick have a pretty solid crossfire going on. This could just be murder as they come out. Fugly's even watching the drop. So here it comes. Elige into a little bit of a gun battle. Yeah, so he takes that headshot.
No, that's fine. It's perfect. That crossfire, though, you called it. That works out absolutely to perfection. But Flowsick does drop down. That makes it a little bit more pressure on Elige now in behind the smoke.
Yep, that was just, that was, even without Flowsick getting a kill, it slowed down the attack. Elige grabs that first one, and that's the thing, that position, you know, that you talked about how important that platform can be. If they're able to swing wide onto that platform and get the angle on the one player bang behind the statue, I mean, that's a dangerous situation. So Elige getting that first kill is crucial, because the first player is usually the one to swing, with the rest of them dropping down behind him. So it was very nice defense there over towards B. And Liquid, no opening is being found for Method, really. This is tough. Liquid at a 7-0 scoreline. They're looking at two dominant matches, but here comes a quick eco push. Silent and Mainline both take out Fugly and Adren very, very quickly, and now the hit is on towards B. It's a race.
It is a race, and Elige beats them to it. They don't cross all the way to the site, and Elige managed to get the first one. Ely, though, going to catch Flowsick, who's the aggressive player down low. They still try and get the shots over. Justin's going to put this bomb in place, so at least they got a plant to work with this time on Method's side. And Elige gets caught off. Mainline on the ramp gets the shot up. And Nitro actually, for the first time, has to make the decision. Does he want to go for this? They do have a lot. Actually, they don't. That's the crazy part. They don't have that much money because they have been losing players. But Nitro brings this back to a 2-on-1. That's as far as he'll get it. Justin gets the kill with the Tech 9, and that's well done. Method get their first one on the board. And Method, you talked about this is their first season coming up. They look like the team that actually is the best move-up team. They just need to remember that they are a move-up team, that this is their rookie season, not get discouraged, because a lot of teams throw in the towel and don't really try much more when they start losing a lot. As long as these guys take this as a learning season, they're going to be in good shape as a team moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely showing some good things, and you're right, that economy for Liquid has been beat up. I mean, every single round has basically been 2 to 3 members of Liquid falling, so despite a 7-round win streak, they're in a situation now where their economy could be broken if they're to lose this round. And no ops for them either. They've had ops pretty much through a lot of this stretch. Adren and Nitro both utilize them at certain points, but neither of them have one now.
Smoke out the delay, Ely. They go for this double play. Eli's going to fall back out to it. Justin, meanwhile, does get Fugly bombs down at long, though. Adren, he's so close to it. Silent needs to push up and help support to get this bomb back, and he's just waiting for that smoke to dissipate so we can scout out and see where Adren is. The bomb has been recovered. That's the main thing. Justin does get the bomb. Now they can fall off it. Meanwhile, Elige, though, does take Ely down. Silent past the mural of the Dragon Lord. Mural, I guess I should say. That would be pronouncing it correctly. But look at the aggression at long right now. Nitro's already pushed up. Elige actually gets Trevor, but Nitro, there it is. He pops out. Silent had no idea he was there, and thank you very much for the Asimov.
Yeah, just down to Justin, 1-on-4. Nothing really for him to do. Nitro's even holding that angle once again. But Elige gets boosted over in the drop, and he's going to take out Justin, so 8-1. That's the economy for Method is pretty much broke. They have 2 players who can buy, or 3 players who can buy, actually. This will more than likely be a force buy, I would expect out of Method. With the trend that they've had, but it doesn't look like it.
The problem is that Strebber, yeah, they'd have to drop like a little off of Silent.
Well, I mean, they could do the 3 AKs and the 2 Tech 9s, but I just expected it based on how much...
You're going heavy force on that regard, then.
I'm going like an envious force is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, okay.
But actually, Fugly hears all this. Nitro does pick one off with the AWP. Fugly's going to come back. He's playing around the smoke. He grabs one, waiting for a second. Lets Justin jumps through, pulls out the pistol. Can he get the third? He can. He's going to get the headshot on the main line. He's going to complete the hat trick. So 9-1.
Yeah, Nitro holding the top of the middle with the op as well. And Liquid look like they've got a fairly good stranglehold on this. We talked about if Adren was going to have them in position on this map. Well, he definitely does. They look well coordinated. In fact, I'm really enjoying their swing at B with the Liege in position to do that. That's pretty much as good as I've seen most people play it. I haven't seen the individual plays per se come out like necessarily the aggression at long connector, but it's definitely good default. The only thing I'd like to see a little more of, and in fact they're slowly getting in that position, is Fugly to scout up at long A a little bit more, and finally they're starting to get into a position to do that as Adren and he are working well now. In fact, they're going to boost Fugly up into this little corner sill. That'll allow Adren to work back down danger, get into lower mid. He'll be able to hear anyone there, and then it has to come down to B, where Silent already finds a leash. So now Method has something to work with, but Nitro cancels that out already.
He's going to keep peeking, but he misses the shot. He does grab one, but that's gonna be the go-ahead for everyone to try and hit into this B bomb site. It's just Flowsick. He's got to stall a little bit longer, and he does. He actually forces the hit back. Method no longer pushing it. Instead, it's Ali on the lurk. Takes out Fugly in the A bomb site. He's going to grab a very advanced positioning. The two Team Liquid members are already at the B site. Nothing really left for him to do. This might just be a save call.
Well, Adren's really close to the A site, so if this is a save call, he's in a pretty tight position. The problem is, okay, well, it won't matter. Ali's going to get him. I was going to say, the problem is he's got mainline lurking up on his backside, but Flow6 now, the only one left has the M4, and yeah, he's bailing out.
Yeah, there's a Nitro Zop up there that he could salvage, and he does. He picks it up. Mainline's already in the drop. Ooh. Oh, just barely misses that timing.
That would have been bad. That would not have been good.
No, that would have been terrible. But
Eli's already at T-spawn too. That'll won't allow Flowstick to go that far. He's spotted. Does he get away from this? Bomb's going to detonate. Does he have enough time? The problem is he's got Justin coming over from... Oh, he's played the angle perfect. Just duck down now and don't die. If he took one step back, Justin had him shot dead to rights coming out from A. That was actually well evaded by Flowstick.
The movement. I mean, more importantly, he saves the op. So Adren's going to have that. Doesn't have to invest anything really into this round. He's still at 4,600, so that helps the economy out very, very much so. Liquid up 9-2, trying to get a little bit more space between them. And they're doing this. This is that aggression you talked about. 3 that's here this time towards long A. Adren with the AWP. And look at Fugly. He just bullies his way through. No one's hurt him. No one's seen anything. He's going to have such a fast flank. He's even going to take out Justin. He misses the initial shot, but he recovers nicely. One more in there. That's Ali. He's reloading, though. Ali has a chance to connect the shot, and he does eventually. Fugly falls. Silent with this op is swung out on platform. He's got a good shot at Nitro. He misses, though. Nitro's got to be very careful.
Nitro was careful. Still managed just to stay up, and as a result, he finds Silent. Ely getting closer. As Nitro's not done, he'll catch Strebber over top of the wall just before he gets in the cover of darkness of the smoke. And they're going to run desperately this long rotation. This rotation takes... It takes 12 seconds. Oh, 24 seconds all the way to the site. 12 seconds to where they are right now on the entry point of the site. And that's, I mean, that's the problem because they're not even entered yet, and Adren's already over there. His rotation's only, what, 6 seconds.
Yeah,
so,
he's got the op now as well. On the cross, he does miss the shot, though. That's unfortunate. The good position to get Ali, pushes up very close. Ali's put himself together a nice round, 3 kills, and now he's got to play this APC perfectly. He's getting wrapped around. He finds Nitro, 4 kills for him. Can he get the ace? He can't. 1-on-1, and Ali wins it. Mainline jumps right into his barrel and takes a bullet to the forehead.
Wow, that came close. That was almost a good 2v4 retake, or rather take on the A site, a rotation off of the B site. And Ali's with 2 HP will clutch it out. Team Liquid will hit double digits. Method, that's going to end anything they had going for them. That they had 2 rounds in the last 4, and now it's all ended with that defuse.
That's tough. That was a great round from Ali, especially with those 4 kills. If he could have got that ace, that would have been wonderful. But as it is, they're stuck on 2 rounds. This is going to be another buy behind it. Silence going to pick up a Galil. No AWP for Liquid, though. So they didn't salvage that into Adren's hands. He dropped it in the balcony. I guess they just didn't have time to go get it. And it looks like a very fast B play. Here come the flashes. But they're stopped by a Molotov. A single Molotov ruins everything, and they smoke it off, and they're just going to run through.
This is actually a reasonable effort to smoke that off because they had Method throwing out, or rather, I think it was Ali that threw out the second smoke on this connector. So if they can win this exchange and get in the site, they have a reasonable chance. All they have to worry about is that exact thing right there. Flowsick at drop. Now they've got full control because Fugly's countered out. Slight gap in the smoke, but the way the door opens, it won't matter. But Fugly gets through it. He actually manages to take down Ali, and that just fell apart as quickly as it looked good. They had to go through that smoke at long. They had the smokes out. They got Flowsick. That was their round. They just couldn't get into position. So nice shot by Fugly. That one was more impressive to me. Either way, Liquid are going to pick up a round that by all rights should not have been theirs.
Yeah, it's just another round where the entries were great for Method. Is just the retake in the mid round that they really failed in. So that's tough to swallow. And that B rush worked out really well because at the beginning of the half, Liquid was putting 3 team members there. That B rush might not have worked out that well early on, but lately Liquid's been keeping 3 members at A to try and get a little bit aggressive in other ways. Now they transition away from that, noticing the weakness at A. So it's back to that standard Flowsick right away at the drop. 2 players in B.
Flowsick going to stop main line. Flowsick, though, does immediately drop down to Strebber. Now they've got drop open. But again, opening drop without an entry onto the site directly doesn't really do that much because you still have Nitro and Elige on top of where you have to plant the bomb. You still have to fight your way into that position, and Ellie's so far away. Now is this time that he should be entering onto Long B to try and keep Nitro busy. Fortunately, Nitro's checking for that. That does open up a little bit more room to take the fight to Elige. But look at this, they actually boost back up. They get drop and realize, nah, we don't have anything else to work with. We're going to throw Strebber back up, so they re-boosted him over drop so they won the position. That's how incompetent they are without having Long taken as well, excuse me.
Yeah, Silence turned into a little bit of a lurker here, but Fugly's going to take a little bit of gap in the pressure. He's going to get aggressive, grab an angle, a crouched angle underneath. He jumps up, takes out Silent. There's a couple more in there. If he wants to jump through, he does. That's a good crunch on the drop. 2 players from Liquid are actually utilized to clean that out. That's going to spread everything out. There are only 2 members left for Method. 1 over towards A. That's Justin. Just a Tech 9. He can't do anything. Lee's going to come in the drop very, very late. He's got a Colt to work with, but he's the only one. His feet are getting blown off by Elige. But he does find the kill in the end, but still with 3 players to do, only 11 HP. Not too much left.
And I don't understand that, unfortunately. The reason to boost someone back up when Ali was sitting in the tunnels essentially doing nothing. If the goal was to boost him back up to get a distraction at long, to pull Nitro back over and try and create space at drop, then why not send Ali? He was actually doing anything in that point in the round. He could have easily run down there. Instead, to make it quick, they boost him back up. That's the only thought process I can think of. Justin's not even near the play. That could have been executed much better. They could have gone for a 2-2 split once they had 2 down drop. And they had time to wait. There was no one that was contesting their positioning either. They could have just waited there for that to get in position. So Adrena again aggressive at long. We'll see them flashing through. Dodges the flash perfectly and pops back out. And they line up for a double on his case. As Justin desperately tries to fire back through the smoke and find a kill of his own. But he's not going to find...
Flowsick caught looking the wrong way. As he comes out of the connector, he does eventually find that kill onto Ali. But here comes Justin from behind, but Fugly and Adrena with a 3 kill in that round. Nicely done by him, and that's going to be a 13-2 half for Team Liquid. They're putting up monster rounds tonight in the 2 matches they've had. Hot off the heels of Gfinity, looking very, very good. And it's kind of a shame, too, because Method actually, I thought, they had some rounds that looked very, very good to begin with. We've talked about it a number of times, and just not able to convert enough of them into wins. So it's a very, very
yeah, their
rough
entries were there.
scoreline.
It was just their ability to secure the sites that was the problem. And as good as Liquid's playing, I mean, if you put them up against a team like Fnatic, who has a really strong entry on the B site, not even necessarily at their drop position, but the way Olaf can swing out from long B, I don't even think this holds enough. I mean, you basically, the key to what Fnatic's going to do is they're going to beat them at long, pull Elige over closer to Nitro, weaken that drop position, then as soon as they know they have that second player over that far, then they'll start taking drop. And then Flowsick has to come in with a massive individual performance. So, I mean, there's still holes in Liquid's defense. It's just the matter of the Method's not exploiting them. I don't know. There's so many different ways of playing it, too. I mean, even Happy, just the way he lurks for Envious, I don't know if they'd be able to stop that. You can play passive on Happy, I think, and make it work.
This round, very grouped up B hit for Liquid. It looks like they're going to split between that drop. They have 2 players ready to drop down, but 3 players coming out long on the platform. They've got to take out Strebber, and they do. 1 more player, Justin. Ali falls to the drop. Justin's got 1. Can he get a second one? He can. He hasn't been taken out yet. Flowsick finally flanks, but speaking of flanks, here's Silent coming in hot. He's got the bomb down. He's got 100 HP. Ooh, a nice shot on the Flowsick, but Nitro with an equally nice shot will just take him out.
And unfortunately, Mainline didn't peek out a little bit sooner there. I think he knew that he was spotted, tried to go passive and wait for kills, but the problem is he let a player go right in front of him at the bomb site and take out his support player over at the backside of the drop. So He then had a 1-on-2 battle when he did peek out. He got the first, but couldn't go much further. So Method, they give up this pistol round. Liquid in a great spot to take this one home. I mean, 14-2, this is a solid performance to close out our night. Fly in that Canadian flag.
Beautiful, beautiful maple leaf.
It tastes great. We actually just crush up the leaves to make the syrup, in case you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
That's a kappa. It's all the syrup is the sap of the tree.
You're a jerk, you know that? So an entry kill on the main line. An easy mop up for Liquid there. And that's another buy out of Method. They had a scout there. Couldn't find any connections, though, so pretty easy mop up on that B bomb site. One more round. Method's going to be forced to buy up the armor, the Deagles, the 5.7s.
Well, that'll do it. I mean, I won't do it all the way, but that'll do it to get them least guns out and force up on the Method side, but do it to match point. Deagle, let's see if Justin can make anything work with it. 5.7s otherwise in Liquid. Unfortunately, I mean, that's the other thing. We saw a great CT half from them. Unfortunately, we're not going to see what they're going to do T-side, because I'd like to see what Adren does to compensate for what the highlights in the defense videos he's made. We won't really get to see that materialize in full effect. It looks like they want to put a lot of aggressive at long this round, and so far, although Strebber gets close and personal inside that smoke, they haven't found any kills. Good damage onto Adren, but they're lurking out. Alige does get all the way to the left before any damage comes back in, and it's mainline that jumps up to catch Adren. Flosick finds him. Fugly onto Ely, and Roberts calling a mayday right now. No artillery strike in range, and unfortunately that means Nitro's going to get into the back of him quite quickly. 16-2. Great performance from them on Cobblestone, and they looked well composed, I have to say.
Yeah,